I often think about how I'm going to tell my children the story of their grandparents, the ups and downs of their relationship, and the tragic circumstances surrounding the death of the Black Consciousness Movement, BCM, and the birth of their father. At some point, all children learn that death is an abrupt conclusion to the journey of life. Yet I dread the prospect of describing to them the mortifying details of the death of Steve Bantu Biko. For Lutando Bantu Biko and Imani Mambela Biko, the 1970s will probably seem like the distant past. Naturally, at their young age, they don't have a sense of who their grandfather really was and what it was about his life that made it well lived. However, in 6 years for Lutando and 18 for newborn Imani, they will reach adulthood and no doubt begin to ask some of the questions that led me to write this book. Why didn't their grandparents get an opportunity to enjoy the freedom they fought so very hard for? What impulses caused their grandfather and his many colleagues to launch the BCM? What did he originally mean by the term Black consciousness? I suspect they will also want to know what happened to Black consciousness in the 21st century. Why are relationships between people still color-coded in South Africa? Is this color coding the reason why social relationships seem to be deteriorating so badly? Furthermore, why is their grandparents' original vision for this country so radically different from the country we live in today? Given the socio-economic circumstances that most South Africans face, was their grandfather's death worthwhile? These are the questions that all South Africans should be asking. In some way or another, we are all beneficiaries of the BCM. Without Black consciousness, we would still refer to Black people in South Africa as non-whites. We would have neither the language nor the inclination to articulate the patronizing behavior some whites display in their feeble attempts to help Black people living in material poverty. We might also have agreed to a post-apartheid dispensation that retained the demeaning concept of homelands. Most importantly, Black people would find it even more difficult than they currently do to express and harness their self-love. I am a child of the Black consciousness movement in both a physical and a spiritual sense. I am privileged to be the product of my parents' incomplete union. As with all South Africans born in the 1970s, I have been both blessed and cursed to grow up in the dusk of the movement, when its light shone brightest and then rapidly faded into the violent darkness of the 1980s.